entrepreneurship can be extremely hard on your relationships in life. And it's something that no one really talks about. But here are 3 things that I learned starting my business right out of university. And the first thing is that when you first start your business, you are going to make way less money and probably work way harder than most of your friends that go down the corporate path. So I went to business school, got my BBA, concentrated in marketing. I went the entrepreneurship route. Pretty much everyone else I knew went the corporate route. And in the first few years, they were all making way more money than me and working way less. So while I was grinding all, like 24/7 for very little to no pay, figuring shit out, failing, losing money, doing all kinds of crazy shit, they had like a good job. They were getting paid. They were going on vacation. They had like work friends. I had nobody. I was just like me and my dad and like whoever I was working with at the time. But it was like I had no one to relate to. So it was completely different. And if you're like a naturally competitive person, I'm definitely a competitive person. It can definitely make you second guess yourself. You'll be sitting there like, holy shit, why am I working so hard? I'm not making any money. And then Jimmy, who I went to school with, is killing it, and he's making good money. He seems to be living this great life, and I'm over here like slaving away to make nothing. So it can feel like that. The key, though, is to remember you don't need to compare your life to somebody else's ever, but especially not when you guys are down completely different paths, you know? And I understand why the comparison is there. It's because when you started out in life, you went to maybe high school or university together with somebody. You lived the same life. You had the exact same experiences. There was a close correlation of like, oh yeah, like this person is just like me. And then when you split off and you go down a completely different path than they're going down, you no longer, like, that comparison isn't there anymore because you guys are going in completely different directions and you don't necessarily want the same things. The outcomes that they want or are striving for, maybe you don't. And maybe that's why you chose to go down the path of like starting your own business, being an entrepreneur, that kind of thing. So rule number 1, if you want to call it that, or my thoughts on it, number 1 is just don't compare yourself to other people, and definitely don't compare yourself to like the people that are working standard jobs, because they're going to have problems that you don't have, and it's a completely different thing. Number 2, entrepreneurship can definitely feel lonely. So while your friends that went the corporate route, while they have work friends, while they have a bunch of people that they can relate to, complaining about their boss, complaining about a vacation policy, talking about, you know, their hourly rate or their salary or asking for a bonus, you're not going to be able to relate to any of those things, right? If someone's complaining about vacation policy, you don't even know what that is. If someone's complaining about their boss, well, great, you don't have one. So these are things that are going to be different for you, and it can feel lonely because you're also going to have problems that they have no idea how to even respond to. If you're like, yeah, I'm running this ad product and I'm trying to figure out how to change the copy here to make this ad perform better, I mean, they're going to be like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, right? They don't have the same problems. They also don't have the same risk involved, right? They go to work, they get a paycheck. You're risking money all the time, making investments here, trying things, and so there is, it can just start to feel lonely for sure when you first start. And it's about, number 1, it's about connecting with your friends on things that you can connect on still. So if you have friends that kind of went down the different route and you're still seeing them, that thing is to connect on things that everyone can connect on. You know, there's family things, there's relationship things, there's, you know, sports, whatever. There's a bunch of things outside of work that you can still connect with people with. And if you do want to connect with people around work things, then it's good to find other people who are entrepreneurs, find communities either in person or digitally that are talking about the things that matter to you, that are talking about the problems that you're experiencing or the struggles you're having, and then you can relate to these people. And it is, honestly, when you find communities like that or you find people like that, it's like a breath of fresh air. Like when you talk to someone and you're like speaking the same language, it's like, oh, that's exactly what I was trying to say. And So these communities, these relationships are extremely important to find and cultivate early on your journey, because it just makes the journey more fun. And yeah, it's just super helpful too to have people you can bounce ideas off and talk to about these kinds of things. And then number 3 is you will outgrow people, and that's okay. So there can be a lot of guilt around outgrowing people in life, especially people that you grew up with. You know, these are supposed to be like my best buddies. You know what I mean? But when you go down a very strenuous path of self-growth, something like entrepreneurship, which I think is one of the most intense self-growth journeys anyone can go down, is really trying to build a business, because you all of a sudden have to develop skills that others just won't have to develop in their career, especially not that early on. You'll have to develop skills for sales. You have to develop leadership skills, public speaking skills. You have to make massive decisions quickly and be decisive and logical. And you have to absorb and handle a bunch of stress and pressure. And a lot of people aren't going to develop like you. So you might end up going to hang out with your buddies, and there is a sense of you just being there like, I don't really want to hang out with these people anymore, which is painful to say and painful to think about, right? It's not like, that doesn't feel good. No one wants to say, I don't want to hang out with my old friends anymore. But sometimes you will outgrow these people, and I'm telling you, it's like a natural progression in life. I've had friends that are like great people, but it's just I don't really see them anymore, and I honestly they probably don't want to hang out with me anymore either. So it's okay. It's like I've grown in one direction, they've grown in another. If our paths cross again, so be it. But if not, it's okay too. So you don't need to feel guilty about outgrowing your friends or moving into different circles. It's not a big deal. It's part of growing up. And I think, some people are in your life for a certain period of time. Some people are in your life forever. Like you have those friends or family members that you were always close with, you always will be close with. And then some are just they're seasonal people. For this season of your life, you were really close with this person, and then you'll grow apart and maybe you'll reconnect later on. So that's it. So anyways, guys, this is my, just 3 hot takes on kind of some things that no one talks about with relationships and entrepreneurship. And I just want to touch on it here. So maybe you're going through anything. If you enjoyed this video, guys, please subscribe, like, comment below. It really helps me figure out what kind of content to keep creating and talking about. And I'll see you next time.